All right, today we're doing ramen. This is a bachelor chow recipe, so I'm going to keep it really simple. First off, you set your timer for 10 minutes, which I already have. Turn it on high, so that all at the same time. That's a very simple start point. Put some salt in there. Now, open up your ramens. I'm making lunch for me and my son, and he eats 2 and I eat 1. So first off, don't dump the ramen in. First off, there's that little packet in there, so you take it out very gently, and there's always these little oddball pieces at the bottom. You don't want those in there. So you're going to take these all out. You notice I'm leaving the flavor packet in there. Don't worry about that right now. Open them up. And because I want even cooking, oh, nope, some of the little pieces came out. Because I want even cooking, I'm going to put them all in at the exact same time. Here's our third one. This is really exciting. This is like so good. And to live a good life and have some nice things and make everything that you do a little bit better. So now I'm going to put them in. They fit side by side, and then if I put in a third one, the top one kind of sticks out over. So I just keep an eye on that. Later we're gonna move that around. Yeah, that water's already getting hot. So I'm gonna flip that over so at least it's wet on all sides. Now I carefully extricate the flavor packets without dumping any of those little oddball pieces out. And there we go. So this is garbage now. We didn't do any of those. We didn't try and conserve any of those little bits and bobs. Also, I keep my nails trimmed really well. Having nails is gross because stuff gets under them. And people that like clean them, like I don't know. Just me personally, I don't like nails on a guy. And I think for cleanliness purposes, they should be always trimmed. And I wash my hands like a surgeon before I prep any food. And I look out for cross-contamination. So now let's go ahead and grab a couple of bowls. An investment you're going to want to make as a young man is, or maybe an older man too, if you're in your midlife, get some good cookware. And you don't need that much. These are ramen bowls. These are pretty huge, by the way. You can see compared to my hands. So one of those is for my son. Yeah, get some bowls. A pair of nice bowls will really do you well in life. And you can also choose the bowl to complement or frame the dish. So these are relatively dark colors. The noodles will be relatively bright. So the red and the mostly black will give you really good options. And these are not that much. I think these were like $4 each. And I think these actually cost me like $20 each. And they're a great investment. So when people come over and you have 4 nice bowls and you make them this ramen in it, it's gonna look really good. All right, yeah, those are already soft enough now for me to make sure they're all submerged. There you go. Yeah, I'm going to tease them apart just a little bit. Uh-oh, I'm getting little pieces in there. It's not good. All right, next. Now, normally I would just put 2 flavor packets in here and 1 in the other one. But I'm going to be adding a lot of spices and things. So what I do is I put 1.5 in the larger bowl. Come on now. There we go. 1.5 in the larger bowl. And half in the smaller bowl. It's not exact. I mean, I should put 1 1/3 in the larger bowl and 2/3 in the smaller bowl, I guess. Now, you want, when you put your noodles in there, you want that flavor to go all around in them. So it's not good to just pour it straight up into the powder. I think I have just a little bit of chicken broth. So normally I elevate my ramen by using chicken broth. but I really don't have enough. And it's refrigerated, so I just, yeah, by the way, you should be smelling this every time to make sure, smelling and tasting things as you go along to make sure the quality is there. That's part of cooking food. And you know what, I'm just, since there's so little left, I'm just going to pour it all in there. So now, that's disintegrating in the bowl. In fact, I'm just going to stir it up just a little bit. So I put the noodles on top and I start mixing them around. That flavor will really go into the noodles and basically create a broth. And that's what this is. This is like bouillon that's, you know, in powder form. It's not bad, but we're going to be adding other things. In fact, let's just get this out. First off is everything but the bagel seasoning from Trader Joe's. You get to see that in just a second. That's a really good one. That has garlic and everything in it. Or you could get one of those little tins. Okay, I can't really show it to you. Out of an empty one of those, I put just white sesame, and it makes a little shaker. So don't buy those tins of sesame from the grocery store. Those are hugely expensive. They charge like $5. All right, I'm down to 3 minutes here. When you could spend, I think it was 20 or 25 to get this 2-pound bag of sesame seeds. This will last you like more than a year at least. So definitely get this. I put some in this little shaker so I could just shake it on, and it lasts us forever. It's really a great little investment into your kitchen. All right. Here we go. This is full of the leavings of pork and chicken that I've made. It's just like the juice that's in the bottom of the pan. I save that and it becomes like a broth maker. Not much to look at, but it tastes really good. It's got some onion in there and everything. I'm going to turn down the heat. You don't have to, but I'm trying to stretch this last couple of minutes here to show you. In fact, I should have been prepping this instead of talking. Hold on. I'm looking for something. Okay, this is all very weird. I'm missing something critical. Okay, hold on. No. This is really weird. Oh, okay, well, they must have been used. I had some radishes, and it looks like I have one left, and so I'm just going to wash that off. I have this little bell pepper, too. So this is all just elevating your dish. Yeah, this is almost done. I'm down to 1 minute. So now I should have been cutting these vegetables this entire time. Oh, where were those? Oh, they were in the top. Okay, thanks. All right, so anyway, and these have been washed then? All right, great. Okay, so I have this little bell pepper, so I'm just going to cut the end off of that. Cut the top off of that. I probably should have kept the top on. Now, some people de-seed them for this purpose. You do not. It's just a garnish. The seeds will actually make it look a little bit better. There's a zillion places online where they talk about knife skills. And so the radishes, I'm going to top and tail them. So cut off the top. In fact, let me just see if I can get in a little bit closer here. There we go. All right, so I cut off the root. I'm going to cut off the stem part. So now I have sort of parallel on the top and bottom. That's a little seed. That doesn't need to be there. Then I'm going to put that on its side. I'm going to cut that in half. Then turn it on its side again. So basically, I have this radish-like hemisphere here, or a semicircle. And so I'm going to put this on the bottom, and then I'm just going to chop it into pieces. There's my 10-minute mark. There we go. So basically, while the ramen is cooking, instead of blathering on, you should be chopping up all of these things. And of course, putting all the pieces to the side. Now you can save those pieces in a baggie and make vegetable broth. I have this beautiful red onion here. And I'm just gonna take off the outer layer, take off the tail. It's starting to sprout, so that's not the best, but it's not bad either. So I'm just gonna peel off the outer layer, and I'm only adding this for color. So I just chop off some things. That's probably too much. The rest of this goes back in a baggie. And now I have this beautiful garnish to put on. You shall see. Oh, let's turn that off. Don't need that anymore. I'm going to grab some green onion. And, ooh, I think that one's not the best. So I'm going to get out some cilantro that I bought yesterday. I wish you could smell this cilantro. Look at that. Oh, isn't that amazing? So I just pull off a clump off the top. I'm sure other people have better ways of doing it. I wash it off. Now, I'm just going to give that a rough chop. So like I was saying, you can save those vegetable oddballs in a baggie. You can freeze it, and then later you can make some really amazing vegetable broth out of it. All right, so now I have my stuff there. Oh, and I forgot the meat. You do not need this. You could put an egg in. Nope, that's not it either. There we go. Okay, so I've pre-made some chicken, and I'm going to cut that into slices on my cutting board. Just take all these veggies, move them aside. Am I on the spot? Yep. Do that into strips. Again, good knife skills. That's another topic for another time. And what I want to do is I want to heat this up. You could do it in a pan, by the way, with oil and butter and like add more spices to it. But I kind of want to just finish this. Theoretically, you can just do all of this in the 10 minutes that it takes for everything to boil. Let's see if I can zoom out of here. There we go. All right, so now, first off, this water's really hot still, and you want to keep that water. Don't mess with this. What we got to do is we got to zip over to the sink here. Hopefully it doesn't show any of the, there's a little bit of mess on the side. And of course I want to keep that out of frame. Not a lot, by the way. What's messy for normal people is probably not the same as what I would consider a mess. Okay, so I've got my chicken really hot. Now I'm going to show you just how I put the noodles into the bowl. Let's see if I can work around my camera tripod here to hopefully not get overly in the way of myself. Okay, so basically you bring this over and you take it for, you can do this on the edge of your stove, but it usually splashes a little bit. That's why I like to do it in the sink. So you just bring this over like this and you start feeding it into the bowl until you get the correct amount. So just about 2/3 of it, and then I pull the last bit out. There you go. Some sticks out over the bowl, some of it might fall in the sink. Don't worry about that. Do not take it out of the sink unless your sink, well, yeah, just don't take it out of the sink. All right. Be careful with that. Okay, so what I do now is I flip it. And I'm getting all of that great sauce from the bottom mixed into the noodles. And it also makes a little pile, which I think looks very attractive, don't you think? Okay, let's whip around to our chopping board here. And by the way, this is you could literally, if you worked at it a little bit, you could make 4 of these bowls full of ramen in like 15 minutes. And it's really great. The trick is don't overcook your noodles. And then there's one more trick which you'll absolutely love. Let me just cross here. And that is, okay, so yeah, you'll see at the end. So I'm going to put my chicken on. I'm going to give all the chicken to myself. There we go. And then I just start garnishing with all this stuff. Put some of the peppers on there. And, oh, did I make a mistake? Yeah, I'm supposed to put a little bit of spice onto the noodles too, because it definitely needs it. But as the person begins to eat it, all of the things we're going to put on top start working their way into that broth. Now you could take broth and add it here, but the problem is that's going to really cool things down and you don't necessarily want that. So I'll put a little bit of cilantro on top. And, oh, some radishes. The radishes add some nice color. The white and the red, they add some crunch. Now, if you want to do an egg, I literally didn't have eggs this time. So for the egg, you just, because you start with the pot with cold water. You haven't done anything with it. You put the eggs in there and then turn up the heat. So from turning up the heat on the water to 10 minutes, when everything's done, those eggs should be right around soft boiled. And then you can peel them and cut them. And so there you go. So now let's grab our Trader Joe's Everything But the Bagel, or sesame seeds work too. And there is one other thing. If you want, you don't have to do this. You can buy, what is it? This is steak seasoning. This was $1.25 at my store, and it basically just has garlic powder, onion powder, has a little bit of dill. Dill is like really the only difference between steak seasoning and anything else. It tastes really good. It adds some nice color. I don't know. Maybe that's not for everyone. I got this sweet and spicy Kansas barbecue rub while I was in Seattle, and it is, I thought, oh, it's just whatever. No, this is actually better. But you could, oh, I wish you could smell this. It just smells so good. I'm going to put just a whisper on top. Now, this isn't for everybody. I would have, if I had remembered, I would have put it right on the noodles. I'm being so gentle with this right now. I don't want to put on very much. There you go. It's starting to come out. Yeah, there you go. Adds just a little bit of color, which is nice. And then I'm going to put everything but the bagel. Now, you want to let this steam, because everything but the bagel has like garlic, dried garlic in it, and you don't want to be crunching on that dried garlic. So you want to give it just a minute. The last step, this is the trick, guys, and this is how, if you had to do this for 4 people or even 8 people, and you were just had a big old pot of ramen or whatever, what you do is you keep what's called flour water, which is the water that's left over. And I usually actually keep heating it. Once I've taken all the noodles out of it, I'll boil it. Because what you do is you grab a ladleful and you put it in the side, and this automatically makes it piping hot and gives it just some absolutely beautiful heat. So there you go. That's what it looks like. Does that look delicious? Like you just want to eat that? Oh, guys, it's fantastic. It's really, really, really good. And I'm no ramen house. I just wanted to get you from level 0 to level 1, not to level 9. All right, thanks for tuning in. That's the whole thing.